Hi, I'd like to share with you why I believe that defined benefit life is such an important, even revolutionary innovation. Let me start with some history. In 1987, I created the first life insurance strategy using systematic policy loans to supplement retirement income. It was called The Alternative, and it was introduced by E.F. Hutton Life Insurance Company, the life insurance subsidiary of the big brokerage firm by the same name. The idea really took off, and as you probably know, over the decades that followed, it led to hundreds of millions, if not billions, in life sales. In 1987, I was a wholesaler of Universal Life representing Hutton Life, and then its successor company, First Capital Life. Back then, sales illustrations were based upon double-digit interest rates, and projecting the highest cash values into the future became the basis of competition among competing Universal Life carriers. The decades-long and historically unprecedented decline in interest rates that was to follow was not something that was even imaginable back then. In 1987, a 0% interest rate was not something that any agent could wrap his or her mind around. Of course, carriers were inevitably forced to lower the crediting rates on in-force UL policies. Not only did this mean that the original projections were no longer valid, it often meant that the policy would inevitably terminate due to lapsation unless substantial additional premiums were paid in. This is a tough conversation for insurance agents to have with clients. No one likes to be the bearer of bad news. But at the same time, this reality is clearly not the fault of the insurance agent. Now, there's a wonderful sales strategy called Concept LAX that Well2K has packaged, and you should learn about, because it's a way to go back to old policy owners with impaired policies and really become their financial hero. And no, it does not involve selling their policy. But let me shift to something also important, if not revolutionary. We recently introduced Defined Benefit Life, a life insurance strategy funded to boost personal retirement security. Defined Benefit Life is a differentiated solution, differentiated by its management system, a system that will monitor policy interest crediting annually and then advise the policy owner of annual adjustments to the premium that can be made either upward or downward to keep the policy on track for its targeted retirement income. If you're not familiar with this innovation, please visit AILifeinsuranceAssistant.com. But here's the big point. This monitoring system is the missing link. Its absence historically is the reason that so many Universal Life policies became impaired in the first place. In an interest-sensitive contract like Universal Life, one cannot turn it on and forget it. That's a formula for disaster. The irony is that when adjustments are made to the premium frequently, such as annually, they tend to be very small. Policies become impaired when they're neglected for 10 or 15 or more years. At that point, the cost of rehabilitating the policy is typically too much for the policy owner to bear. So the result is what? A lapse, which I think is a tragic outcome. Now, with a lapse, there is no financial benefit to be realized. Remember that a financial loss in a life insurance policy is not deductible against current income. This is why I mentioned earlier Concept LAX, because it's a solution. The good news is, going forward, the problems we've seen with Universal Life don't have to keep repeating. Because of the policy management system that is a foundational element of Defined Benefit Life. So again, if you're not familiar with this, go to AILifeinsuranceAssistant.com. I think you'll understand why I view the design of this solution as such an incredible business opportunity. If you do some research, I think you'll come to this conclusion, that on its merits, it's hard to find any retirement security alternative that is as advantageous as is Defined Benefit Life. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.